Hello and welcome to the pretender creation of Late Age Elm for this multiplayer Dominions YouTuber playthrough of, Dominions 5. So the group is back, most of it. We've got a few extra people joining us and a few people have dropped out. But all in all, we have a bigger group and we've definitely attracted some much better players from the YouTube sphere joining in. So there's definitely going to be some higher tier play and I just hope to be competitive. But here we are. I'm going to be continuing with Late Age Elm. And if you've ever wanted to play as a blood fountain, then this is the playthrough for you, because we're going to be a blood fountain. Because, secretly I've always wanted to be a blood fountain. I don't know if I've told you that, but sometimes you just gotta fountain some blood, and that's healthy, right? Okay, well. This is what we're going to go through. So one of the most important things about Late Age Elm is that it's very, very different from the previous Late Age Elms or previous Elms. It goes very hard into blood magic. And I don't... Can you bring up the spells? I thought it was S. But squared was S. Anyway, these are the units that Late Age Elm gets, but critically there's a spell requires no research, Sanguine Heritage. It summons a vampire count. Death 2, Blood 2, Immortal, Flying, and Mundane, Invulnerable 20. So this guy is a beast. And for 0 research, he is a fantastic summon. So really, I'm going to be playing all around this vampire count units. I'm going to be trying to get them as quickly as I can, as many as I can, and just... use them as best I can. And they're immortal, so if they die within my dominion, they respawn immediately. I think they're a 1 month immortal cooldown unit, so they're great. So I want to get them as quickly as possible, and how I get them as quickly as possible is with being a blood fountain. So it needs Death 3 and Blood 3 to be summoned. So there's nothing in here that allows me to actually cast the spell. So my pretender is going to have to be the dedicated Sanguine Heritage caster, and that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The Blood Fountain does have some nice bonuses. It's got a bonus to Blood Search. So the first few turns, I'm going to be Blood Searching in my capital for Blood Slaves to get Sanguine Heritage up as quickly as possible, and then those vampire counts are going to be Blood Searching too, and just try and get these guys as much as possible. This is going to hurt my income from the capital, but it's a sacrifice I'm going to take. What else does this guy have? Just a normal, immobile dude. All of these things. Like I don't imagine him ever being in battle. If he is in the battle, something's gone horribly wrong because I'm defending in my cap province, and so don't want to do that. Okay, so need the Death 3 and Blood 3 to cast Sanguine Heritage. Might as well to go to Death 4 to get the Bless effect. And then I'm going to pump this guy up all the way to Blood 7 to try and get those bonuses, mostly to Blood Searching. The Bless effects I'm going to go for is Withering Weapons. I think it's the most helpful Bless here. I don't think these are really helping, but what Withering Weapons does is if a unit gets hit by it, then they're going to age super fast. And I've been playing through this build. I've been testing it quite a fair bit, and I think it's fairly mediocre whether or not this is actually going to work, because if something is going to be hit with Withering Weapons, I'm either going to kill it without it decaying if I win, and otherwise it will decay. If I lose and they get decayed, then they'll die, but that means I've lost. So it's kind of it kind of only helps if I lose battles. There are some instances when the enemy units are retreating off the map, and if they decayed while they're retreating off the map, then they'll die instead of retreating. So there is definitely some merit in this, but overall I think its value is pretty mediocre, but for just 1 extra magic point to get, I think it's definitely worthwhile. For the Blood Bless effect, Blood Surge, fantastic. If you don't know, as soon as the unit gets a kill, you get +3 attack, +3 strength, +1 defense, and +1 reinvigoration. So this is just fantastic buff. This is great. And I've got another 3 blood points left over, so I'm going to go Strength of the Strength of the Flesh. So yeah, this actually gives me a fairly strong bless. It's not like a super powerful bless, but it definitely has value. And what we're going to do with this is, it's this guy, this Black Templar. This guy, even without a bless, is a very, very solid unit. He's 3 attacks, so 3 opportunities to hit something with their own weapons. Huge protection, and with a bless, this 1 or 2 of these guys by themselves can basically take any provinces, the weaker ones. This is just a fantastic unit. Very high resource cost, so that's a limiting factor here. So to try and get as many of these out as possible, I'm going to go with 3 production. Gonna have to take some negative scales too. Want some growth as well to not hurt income too badly, as well as trying to get the population up for the blood hunting. Even though we're going quite a short game, 40 turns is the limit. We found that the last game kind of maybe dragged on a little bit too much. So we have a much shorter game. The turns did take a long time to turn around. So we're hoping for a more claustrophobic map, closer fighting quarters, more action. So benefit from the growth might be a little bit mediocre. Gonna take 2 misfortune. They're cheap points basically. Misfortune just isn't that bad. And then I'm gonna throw up my Dominion. It's a little bit cheap to throw it up, starting with a base of 4. But Dominion is important here because I'm going to rely on those vampire counts a lot, and they're immortal, but they're only immortal in my Dominion. So I'm only going to want to use them in my Dominion, which means I have to spread my Dominion hopefully into provinces where I can attack with the vampires, and if vampires die, it's irrelevant because they resurrect because they are immortal and they can fly, so they're super mobile. They're just great units. They're very, very cool. So this is the Pretender I'm going with. Let's have a look at the actual units I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using the Black Templar a lot for the early expansion. I'm probably going to get a few wolf herders just to get the wolves, because for all the blood hunting I'm going to be doing, I'm going to have to patrol my cap province, my capital, which it's a thing that's just going to have to happen. What is handy is the Black Priests have Inquisitor, which means that they're very good at preaching away enemy dominion. So it really helps me spread my dominion into the enemies, so I can use my vampire counts more aggressively, not having to worry about them dying. So that's what the Black Priests are about. What else? The Illuminated one is the core researcher that I have. These guys can be recruited just where there is a lab. They don't require a capital, so it's just a lab that they need, and you can recruit them. Don't have to have a fort, which is a bonus. But I find that this build I have, I'm fairly restricted in money, so I'm probably unlikely to do that. But it's a thing that they can do. They are much cheaper than the Black Priest, but they're 60 gold. They're 60 gold for 7 research maintenance, but the Black Priest is 64 gold for 9 research. So for maintenance, the Black Priest is cheaper for upkeep, for research, but costs 160 gold versus the 75. So these guys are much cheaper. So I'm probably going to go with these guys for research early on. These guys also do have the Iron Darts and Iron Blizzard again, which is a pretty sweet spell. But because I relied on that so heavily in the last playthrough, I'm going to try and go for a slightly different strategy. So hopefully not focus on that too much. They do have Earth Magic. So I'm mostly going to be Death and Blood Magic. That's about it really. They don't really have much access to other magic schools. There's some Astral, 2, and you can get some Earth here, 1. Chances of Earth 2, I mean, it exists, but otherwise, getting into these ones, you're only going to have like 1 spell level in those, so that's not that fantastic. You do get the Fortune Teller, which is also one of the reasons why I'm not so worried about going Misfortune, because they do have Fortune Teller, so these guys have a good chance, or not good chance, but they have a chance of reducing bad events. And they have access to Nature Magic. What this means is, though, is that making items for the vampire counts I'm going to get to actually thug them is very limited. So I don't have real access to those core magic skills that I need. It's the Frost brand and the Fire brand. I can't really get those. Divine Shield is difficult for the nature magic access. And yeah, Earth magic as well. We don't actually need Earth magic because they've got such high protection against mundane attacks, so you don't actually have to worry about actual armor pieces like Black Plate, because it doesn't really stack very well at all. It stacks like tiny, helps a little bit. But the big thing about the vampire counts is that the magic resistance, because they can be dispelled using all spells to focus undead, they hurt them. The most effective way I've had noticed for using the vampire counts is using them to cast Horde of Skeletons, which requires a level 5 or 6 in enchantment to get that spell, which is something of an investment. I think it's level 5. Horde of Skeletons, which is it's effective, but I've been trying to look for more effective ways of using the vampire counts. I've struggled, largely because of such poor magic access to the other schools of magic. It's mostly death and blood that I want to get. And there are a few cool blood items. There's a blood shirt, chest piece, that increases blood magic, as well as giving a huge chunk of magic resistance, which I think is what's most important for the vampire counts. Otherwise, it's Infantry of Orm and the Rangers, which are pretty good, which I'm going to... So the army, I'm going to mostly build Black Templars as much as I can, and in other places it's going to be the Rangers and the Infantry. It's these guys that I'm going to mostly be dependent on. The meta for Orm is slightly different. So the meta for Orm is to actually just spam wolf herders and just spam, because they can summon wolves and they're basically free. I mean, they're shit, but they're free, so you can't really complain. So just build a whole bunch of wolf herders and just have armies and armies of wolves, and then you put the Rangers behind the wolves, and the Rangers are just doing the damage, and the wolves just water chaff. And the Rangers do the damage, and you don't care if they kill the wolves. So that's basically the meta, how it's often played, and it's effective and works really well. But I want to be a blood fountain, and those places just, I think, synergize with the Black Templar really quite well. If there are suggestions as to what items to make to thug the vampire accounts, I'm all ears, because I've tried all sorts of things and I've really struggled. One really fun item I did find was there's this shield that I forget what school it's in, but basically what it does is that each time you attack the guy with a shield, then the shield has a chance to blind or take an eye out of the person attacking him. And because the vampire has such high protection, what's ended up happening before is he's just surrounded by people with no eyes. Because they can't kill the vampire count, and the vampire can't really kill them. So it's just this shield poking eyes out. It was hilarious. I really enjoyed that. So I might try that trick with someone. Just put this shield in the vampire count, throw him into the horde of the enemy units, and just take eyes out. I would enjoy that. Because that's a kind of an affliction that it completely makes any kind of unit useless to be blind. Yeah, so and the vampire doesn't really matter if he dies, so it's all good. I might try some fun with that. Otherwise, yeah, that's how I'm gonna play. If there are suggestions, I'm seriously all ears, particularly for that thugging the vampire counts. And I checked with this strategy, I can usually get look, a lot depends on the luck rolls for how the blood hunting goes, but I can usually get a vampire count out around turn 6, I'd say, or turn 7 is when I can cast Sanguine Heritage for the first time. And then you can put a really strong blood economy, because it just cascades, because the vampire counts are really adept blood hunters too. So yeah, going full blood economy, going full blood magic, and death with Horde of Skeletons. So this is Late Age Olm for me for this playthrough. So I hope you're gonna enjoy it. I hope you're gonna follow it, and I hope you're gonna give some helpful suggestions all the way through. I've really appreciated it in the past. It's really helped me. Look, I've put in hundreds of hours into Dominions 5, but this game is so detailed that there's just so much to learn, especially just all the synergies between how different nations play and items work and what pretended you've got. Yeah. Another thing I should talk about is that I'm going with an Awake immobile, which is definitely, I think, quite unusual. The reason for this is I want the Dominion spread early on from an Awake Pretender, for the vampire counts, and also it gives me the blesses because it's which one? I think it's no. Actually, I think it's only withering weapons that's. None of my blesses are incarnate, so my pretender doesn't actually have to be awake for the bless, but yeah, I need him awake because I need him to do the blood hunting. It's absolutely critical that, that I use him for blood hunting. So I'm just yammering on now. That's basically all I have to say, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope it's going to be fun. And yeah, Blood Fountain. It's going to be great. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.